Same thing in the offensive zone. Your defensive zone is a little bit different into where you're trying to get it to people where you're not looking to get turnovers. But once you get outside your blue line, putting into areas where you can skate onto, I think it's a really important part of our game.
Do you, obviously you'd prefer to carry the puck in transition if you could, but you don't want to force it.
Yeah, and that's, I think, for any team in the league, and it's something we talk about all the time, it's our neutral zone decisions. We don't make them for them. If they feel they can make a play or they can carry a puck, we want them to do it. We just don't want them to get stubborn and really try to make plays at 1-on-2, 2 versus 3. That's where you put in area plays. You get slash across. There's a lot of different things that come into play where you skate onto it. So you make right decisions, you make wrong decisions throughout the game. I think we've done a really good job this year of being consistent and not being stubborn in that neutral zone.
And we've talked about this before. You talked a lot about the defensemen yesterday, but that it obviously relies on forward support as well, yes?
Yeah. Our D are always trying to go. They make the call. They're always trying to join. They make the call through the neutral zone. Do I stay in it or do I just get out of there? If they stay in it and we continue with our forecheck, we want our D to stay in. And that's where a forward has to read, support the play, and back them up and make your calls from there. But we're always encouraging our defensemen any chance, and really we're trying to make it part of their responsibility. Sometimes defensemen fall into the play of, I'm playing pretty good defensively here, I'm just going to stay home and do my, it's your responsibility in today's game. You have to get up the ice and then make your call. Do you stay in the offense or you just back out and wait for another try?
And this might be nitpicky, but when you talk about area playing, getting the puck into open areas, are there specific open areas or just get in the open space?
It's a read. It's a read. And that's what's so great about our game and where you can't, and this is where the over-coaching, you can't structure it too much because it's such a spontaneous game and an instinctive game of split-second decision-making. And you never know how teams are going to forecheck. You may think they're forechecking a certain way because that's what you've been told their structure is, but players really don't follow the structure all the time. So it is, you just never know what's going to happen, so you got to make your reads.
A lot of key block shots last night. Do they become more important now that we're getting to this point of the season and do players take it more, I don't want to say seriously, but know that at this time of year?
I think shot blocking is important all the time. I think it's part of playing defense. It's part of building a mindset and a culture within your team, camaraderie. There's so many things that come into shot blocking. Before the last couple of games, I don't think we have been consistent enough this year in our shot blocking. We have brought it to their attention, really, quite honest, before the past couple of games, and I think they've really concentrated. I mean, you look at the end of the game there, blocking shots, the last shot to the net. I mean, the guys are down there praying, a couple of them, to make sure it doesn't get to the net to end that game. Game before, 20 block shots. Our job as coaches, we need to bring it to light that we don't think we're consistent enough, and I think our guys have really brought some, we talk about the crust of the game. That's a huge part of it, and I think the past couple of games they've been there.
Now, I haven't looked in a while, but you guys were down in the list earlier in the season. Is it part and parcel to you've had the puck more this year?
Yeah. We're playing a different game.
Right.
It's not. I do think we've had the puck more. I'm not sure what the numbers bear out and all that, the analytics of it all, but we have certainly played a different game this year. But that's the thing as far as coaches you got to watch is. Yeah, we're letting them play. I think we've opened it up offensively. I think we're a pretty instinctive team. We let them go with their instincts, but don't forget about the grind of the game too. And that's the fine line of how us are letting them make more plays and not always getting it in and having that mindset of just grinding all the time versus a team that can play, I think, a lot of different ways. I think that's been one of our biggest pluses this year. I think we can play a lot of different ways within games. Don't forget the grind, though. And that's where we brought it to light before the Philly game about our coverages, defensive zone coverages, and about some shot blocking. And they've been pretty consistent with it the past couple of games.
A couple of your players last week, your captains, and just kind of embraced the challenge of, hey, we're there. We're almost there. Let's go try to win this President's Trophy. And the thought being, this is my thought of it at least, it is the ultimate carrot and stick, both, because you can't win it if you're not focused every game.
Yeah, I don't look at it that way.
Okay.
I don't mind players looking up. I think that's very good that they look up. Our focus is the next game.
Right.
I don't think there's anything else that we need to have a focus on other than next game. So I don't mind them talking about it. I don't mind them looking up. I think that's very important to have the confidence to look up. But as long as you're not skipping anything, and that's each and every day, that's our biggest focus.
But can you see how those two things coexist? Because you can't win it if you don't.
No. I'm not in the conversation as far as the president's, whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called, but I'm in it, getting ready for the Islanders tomorrow. That's the only focus that I have. I get it.
Yep.
That players look at the standings, and I'm glad we're in the situation that you have an opportunity to look up. They should feel really good about having a chance to look up, and not so many teams in front of you. As years prior, there were a bunch of teams in front of us. That's all good, but get the wrong guy. It's one day at a time. That's why we have had our success since we've been here, is taking it one day at a time. Let's keep our head down. Let's go about our business, shut our mouths, and let's go play.
I know he hasn't won his last two starts, but how has Korpisalo played for you the last couple weeks? Have you been okay with him?
Yeah, he's made. I think people probably get a little. I don't know, the expectation. You see Bob play every night, and Corpy's had some good runs here. I like the way he's played. The thing I like about Corpy, there's some hiccups in his game. There's no question. There's going to be for a while. He's still a young man playing at the top level here. But I just like his battle. I don't think anything affects him. If something goes wrong in a game, he lets in a bad goal or he gets a little sloppy, which happens sometimes with him, just through maturity. The other side of the lack of maturity in some of those situations is I think he's way ahead in the maturity, and that it doesn't get to him. It doesn't turn into 30 minutes of that. He's able to recover right away, knows he made a mistake or was a little sloppy there, and he's ready to go again. I think that's a mental toughness that he has that's very encouraging.
We occasionally, obviously we're not around very often, but occasionally we'll see JD come down and talk to Bob after a game, after a nice performance.
Yeah.
Is it nice to, JD played the position and he also knows what it's like to come back from trying to fight back from injury?
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But I mean, JD runs the team. He comes down and
he can say what he wants?
He can say what he wants, yes.